Didn't expect to see anyone so far from settlement, let alone a small boy pushing stock in the shadow of Captain Hood's mountain. Wasn't until I rode closer that I saw you were a little bit of a girl. Still are. Just a bit of a thing.
He always shakes his head then, eyes a twinkle, and pulls on his grass hay-like beard in wonder, remembering. That day I'd pulled my skirt up between my legs and tucked the hem of the homespun into my yarn belt, giving me more freedom to move while revealing 2 bony knees over bare feet.
But it was your eyes, he said, that startled me. So dark, like obsidian globes nestled into white porcelain.
The Indians named them huckleberry eyes, promising I'd be fruitful, which I guess I've been in a way. Of course, I was flamin' furious, and I suspect my violet eyes, huckleberry or not, were as hard as black marble. And while I vaguely remember seeing a tall man on horseback off the trail holding a brass glass to his eye, I was more concerned with the mules. Papa had sent me to fetch them. I was to bring the animals into the shady upper corrals, then ride one home. In the morning, he planned to return with me and push the small herd back to winter nearer our cabin, named for the place along the Barlow Trail where those bound for Oregon crossed our creek. 15-mile crossing we lived at, in the valley of the Thai people. Our old home is less than a day's ride from this home where we live now, but I have not seen it since the altercation with my mother over Ella all those years ago. It's funny, the pleasures we deprive ourselves of rather than face our fears. After several disastrous attempts that morning long ago, I stomped again to the corral gate, trying to see what would keep the animals from passing through it, wishing just for the moment that I had a herd of horses to contend with. Horses can be convinced to enter in, so willing are they to give up good sense to loyalty and making humans happy. Not so with mules. I ran my fingers over the poles worn smooth by animal hides rubbing past. Couldn't find any slivers or thorns or bees. I looked over the ground just inside the gate, but saw nothing but a few pine needles scattered like dead grasshoppers in the dust. Nothing I could see in the corral opening should have bothered them. And beyond, the corral was empty, quiet, cool. Miss M, the biggest, darkest mule, stood well beyond the circle of poles, but had not run off. It was as though she wanted to go in, but something kept her out. Not unlike some people, I suppose. "Come on," I pleaded, walking toward her, my palm open and begging. I was getting hungry, and she was usually easily caught up. I thought I might tie her to the railing and then gather others up one by one and lead them through. But that day, Miss M jerked back, twisted and bucked her head, kicked out at the hot noon air, snorted, then burst toward an abrupt stop just beyond the gate. Dust spattered like buckshot into the still fall air. I started around her to herd all 7 of them up and try once more to yell them through the gate, when I saw movement from the corner of my eye. Just the glimmer of movement, near the center of the corral, almost like a bird's shadow, or like the seepage of water from a leather bag left lying in the dirt. But there was no bird, no bag, and no water in the dirt. I turned slowly. The movement increased, in several directions now, the ooze taking on familiar shape and multiplying. More than one, a den of them, in fact, writhing and turning over each other in the dirt just beyond the gate, making the dust move ever so slowly, like the beginnings of an avalanche of snow. The movement formed into diamonds of brown and white, and then I recognized them and their hiss. Their presence incensed me, left me with an exaggerated sense of outrage, of invasion, that they should be there, in my corral. Childish fury propelled me toward revenge. Charging to the fire, I grabbed a limb with flames burning at the end, then jerked the